So you're talking about families. What about, more, say blended families, more complex sort of situations from a familial space? What do you do there?
Blended family planning is really hard, like really, really hard. Often you get clients that are kind of once bitten, twice shy, and look, there's a few options. One is that you simply say you do two wills that are pretty much exactly the same, or they call them mirror wills. So the husband says that everything I own at the date of my death I give to my wife, and the wife says everything I own at my death I give to my husband, and then on the death of both of us I split it between my family and your family, or between the four, my two kids and your two kids, something like that, for example. But the problem, there's that idea only works where there's a reasonable element of trust. Because what happens
among
is
siblings and whatnot.
Or no, as between the spouses.
Okay.
Because what happens is you can get a situation where they say the husband dies. It's always the husband that dies first in these scenarios. I don't know why. Gives everything to the wife. The wife then shacks up with a new partner whatever, or has a fallout with the kids from the first relationship. And obviously it goes the other way. The husband might be the opposite way around. And then they decide, they weren't so nice to me, or they haven't contacted me in 10 years or whatever, and they change their will and they give everything to their own kids, which wasn't exactly what the idea was behind it. So that first situation works perfectly if there's, everyone's like, righto, we're going to look after both sides of the family.
Sure.
But it doesn't work so much if you've got a concern that, or some clients are so adamant that they want protecting that kid. So another way you can do it is, and this is probably the most common way that I do it, is they call it a reversionary life interest or a right of occupancy. So what you do is you might say, okay, I give my wife everything I own at the date of my death. I give to my kids, and the wife has her own finances, and she says in her will everything at the date of my death I give to my kids. But they give each other a right to use those assets during their lifetime, like a right to reside in the house until they die, or they might have a portable life interest where they can buy a substitute property or something like that. And then the reason that happens is, and that's a good tool in blended families where the husband and the wife got completely different asset bases. The wife might be a multi-millionaire and the husband might only have a couple $100,000 in the bank. So, she's guaranteeing, or he's guaranteeing that their millions going down to their kids, but the husband's still provided for because he can use the house, he can, so that's the one that I like to use. Another way, which I really, really don't like to use, unless it's absolutely, serious sheep stations, is what they call a contract for wills, or a contract for mutual wills. And that's where you do a will, and you have a contract that says, we won't change our will. And you can also have terms, and this is important also for lawyers, is that sometimes it's a contract not just to change your will, but not to erode the capital of your estate. Because if you sell that, you might not change the terms of your will, you might keep it exactly as you've agreed, but then you just take all the assets and give it to your kids during your lifetime. It's going to defeat the purpose of the contract. So sometimes there are clauses in that they can have the income from the estate. They get everything subject to family's income. So blended families are really complicated. So we have to go to quite a lot of advice on those kinds of things. And there's different kinds of wills that you can kind of use as well.